Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be going over my third round game from the 2023 US Go Congress from Kent, Ohio. Now before I get into the game, I want to talk about my opponent to give some context about the opening, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So I actually had played Louise the night before during the Lightning Go tournament, which if you've never gone to a Congress is you're put in a group of 6 players, round robin, and you play 10-minute absolute time. And so Louise was in my group. And if you don't know, one of my specialties is blitz. And so Louise was asking me, so how are you so good at blitz? And I said, oh, well, because my studying is based a lot on observing stronger player games and kind of building a library of shapes, of techniques, of Tesujis, just like trying to build up a library through viewing games. And so Louise was like, okay, that's cool. Because at that point, we didn't know we were playing the next morning because the rounds are decided about 15 minutes before the games start in the morning. So around 8:45-ish. So I sit down to play Louise. We say, oh, how's it going? Saw you 12 hours ago. And he says, you know what? I'm going to play this because you told me that you study patterns. And so he wanted to test my pattern recognition and if I knew what to do with his opening. So that's the story of Black's opening. As Black starts with the 6-4. And not just one 6-4, but 2 6-4s. Yeah, so that's why Black did that, is because he knew how I studied, how I got better, and he was trying to test that. And he told me that while we were playing. So I'm not like just guessing. He straight up told me this. So I'm always up for a challenge, but I will say, if you are playing somebody who is playing an opening that's cosmic, that's different, don't do anything that doesn't make sense to you. Like you'll see in this game, I am not going to do anything crazy that might get lured into my opponent's traps, right? So just stick to your game, stick to what you know, and eventually the game will just become normal again. As the game just develops, as stones get played, the game will just become normal. And so you just need to kind of survive or put up with whatever your opponent's doing that may be peculiar or different. So like already, Black's third move, like usually when you play this, I believe you want your opponent to approach, right? Like you want your opponent, like if Black went here, you want your opponent to come in, right? Because then you do like this kind of stuff, is my understanding. And if White, like this is what people are looking for who play the 6-4, I believe. So for Black to do this, not only is Black losing that chance of me to play there, but also this is a very common new AI Shamari. So it's something I'm actually comfortable with. And I think even when he played this, he's like, oh, it's something you're used to. So I was like, yep, you are right. So I play off. And then so Black plays here. And so another thing about Louise is he's a returning player from, I think, over 10 years or so, or about 10 years. So a lot of the new kind of strategies and AI stuff he wasn't as familiar with. So one of the things that AI says is like sides are not that important. So this kind of move, I could kind of tell like, oh, he isn't up to date with AI stuff. And I say AI stuff, but that also means nowadays, of course, pro stuff, right? Because pros are adopting, of course, what AIs are playing. So yeah. So again, like if I was Black, I would like approach like this, and even if White kicks and we do something like this, then Black can get a fight going like this. Yeah. But Black goes there. And so I play here, again, to prevent that approach. While again, not that it's a weakness, but I know how to approach the lower left Shamari. And then Black goes here. And this is If you want to protect the corner, that's okay, but you really want to play this kind of move to protect the corner. Yeah. And here, though, because black played this stone at c10, I thought black might try to build here. If something like this. Really try to emphasize this area here. And even though white's going to get something, like, you're not going to be able to take away everything, right? You got to be able to have your opponent have a little bit. You just have to make your opponent have a little bit less than you. So I think black could consider this, or of course, black can just pincer. Black can just pincer, and we get this kind of fight. Something like this. Whether black goes there or there, it's up to style, really. But yeah, this one. So the reason why you don't want to do this one and you want to do this one is a very simple Tawari analysis. And so, for example, what if black did this? And then here. Okay, what if white approaches? That's a common move to play because it threatens d3. Where would you play as black? Would you attach on top? Would you pincer? Would you jump? Would you knight's move? Right, all these seem possible. But what about f4? You can see f4 is a little strange, it's a little slow. And yeah, it's just a little slow. That's really the main thing. So that's how you can kind of tell black's protect here is not so good. Not so good. So again, if you want to protect the corner, this is usually the move you see. Sometimes I also see f2. This is also possible. Just this iron pillar is just too slow. And again, kind of the new way of playing is try to make your areas as big as possible, right? So I jump. This is also threatening to reduce black's lower left. Like, this is a very standard move, a move you might consider. But let's say black shoulder hits and then jumps. Like, black's building while reducing. And yeah, any other move white plays, like I just showed this one, but any other move white plays, something black can do something similar where black flattens while building. So I just want to jump, try to make it as big as possible, and while reducing the left side. So then black goes here. Here. And with this move, this is another kind of what's the example of black kind of being out of the loop on what's good or not nowadays. And if you play this move, I'm not saying this is a mistake, but it just shows me that, oh, black isn't keeping up to date with things. Again, if you play this move, is it a mistake? Not necessarily. Especially at the Q level. If you play this is perfectly fine. But I will tell you why it's not as good as some other moves. Because black goes here, right? And what way does black want to play here? And like what I mean by that is, let's say I had 3-3 invaded, right? So we have the upper left. Which way do you think black would block? Black would block this way because this stone is at the perfect spot, c10. Even if black just jumps here, like, black's potential here is very efficient, and yeah, the direction is good here. So basically, when somebody 3-3 invades you, you get to decide which way you block. But when you play on the 3-3 like this, white gets to decide which way you make your wall. And so here, because of the potential black can make on the left side, I say, okay, I'll play this way. So for example, if black wanted to make a wall on the left side, all black needed to do was play this kind of move. Some approaching move. Again, there's lots of options. Because this might not feel as threatening as the direct shoulder hit. But it kind of is. It kind of is. You're still threatening the direct shoulder hit, or even sometimes you can play here and really squeeze the corner. Really squeeze the corner. But you can see black plays here, and then jump. And when black descends, look at my shape. Black jumps or extends, I jump here. Like, this is, one, white shape is amazing, and two, black's direction is a little off. Because now this stone at c10, like if black had made this wall here, black would never play c10. But now c10 is kind of in an awkward spot, and black even spends a move to fix it. So since black has kind of switched directions, black should play something like q17. Black should play something like q17. And if white does choose to fight here somehow, again, I don't know the best starting move, but black just runs out, and it's a fight. So this move was a little slow, because of course now I take the last corner. Black attaches. So again, this is what black wants when they play the 6-4. And I think I know the follow-ups here. Like there's something with Atari, and then you play the 2-2 eventually, but it just gets so complicated that, again, I'll take a local loss to be comfortable. And that's kind of how you want to feel. So white goes here. So yeah, again, if black goes here, yeah, I think white can go here. Even just push. Push probably doesn't feel so good, so maybe white has to do this one. Yeah, basically this moves sente. So if black comes down, I can go here, is the idea. And, like, this is something I'm more comfortable with. But black definitely should go here. Black should definitely go here. But black just extends. So then I protect the top. Black plays here. This is an okay move. It does force a response. And black has a follow-up that I prevent. Is black can turn here. And this move directly is sente. If I do something else, Atari, Hane, if I cut, black's not going to connect and let me connect. This stone at p17 is useless now. So black would Atari here, and then connect here, or connect the stone at 018, and you can see white is split. So I didn't want to see that. Now it turns out I can just play here, and this is sente now. And now I've fixed the weaknesses. I could do something else now. But black's right side is also a lot stronger once black makes this tiger's mouth here. So when black played here, which this is a little too much, black needed to, especially after losing potential of going here or attaching, right? This exchange here made this stone at L17 much stronger. So because of that, black is a lot weaker. So black needed to play something like this. Yeah, this is probably the only move. And we'll see what happens in the game. So black goes there. So that's why I go here. Again, I didn't want to see that turn, while it weakens the right side as well. And then black goes here. So the sequence that happens next is probably both mine and my opponent's low lights for the entire tournament. We both make horrible mistakes. Absolutely horrible mistakes. So I'm just warning you that this is neither mine nor my opponent's shining moments of this tournament, despite having 90 minutes each. So just keep that in mind when you see this. So because I knew my opponent was not as up-to-date with kind of new ideologies, is I went with this move. Again, this is a very common move. Black goes here, clamp, and then black extends somehow, maybe like this, and, you know, we carry on. We carry on. But this one is a little newer, or not even newer, but the follow-ups are not different. So, for example, this is a very enticing move for black, but when white just turns here, black's going to end up not having a base, is the idea. So this is considered good for white. So the only move for black here is just to take the corner. Hane, Atari, Atari here. And white would like to be able to go here, but black's not going to fix by doing this, and then like this, because now black is actually in some danger here. Black's in some real danger here. Instead, how can I prevent white? Because if you just block, then white can connect under. So the question is, how can I disconnect white in the most forceful way, and that's with P2, like this. So P2 means, okay, if you answer, then I'm alive. So assuming white's trying to kill me, white has to go here, and then here. We can take once. And then Hane, this is too painful. White has to pull back, and now black is free. So that's why here, white can't do this directly, but white can play some move to threaten R1. So for example, white can play here. This is threatening R1 because now when you play here, this move is less forceful. Because if this sort of thing happens, you wedge like this. Or even wedge, white can Atari this way and go like this. So yeah. Now again, you have to be careful about the outside, but that's what white is looking for. So white goes here, black will usually bump, and then white goes elsewhere. Or another move white can play is here. Same idea, black's going to bump, and then you go elsewhere. So that's what I was expecting. I was expecting that, or Louise not knowing kind of the new ideologies and playing this one. But then he goes here. And after the game, he was telling me he was viewing it like this. Like he was thinking of this Joseki. Like this. And so he was thinking, okay, attach Hane, cut, we have that Joseki, right? Just in a different order. The problem is white can bump here. And now black's just cut off. If you play here, white cuts, there's two weaknesses. And you don't even have enough space to live in the corner, and the outside is so weak now. So that's not good. And obviously, if you play this one, white will play here. If you block, like white's corner is huge, and you have no base, and this is also bad for black. But black decides to play here and allow me to play this one. And this is a very famous life and death. I'm sure most of you watching know this is dead for black. Or black's just dead here. When black has a stone at Q4, it's a carpenter square, and it makes it a little more difficult, or more difficult of a life and death. But this one, when this is a cut, this is just a lot easier of a life and death. Yeah, so black has to fix the cut. Now, in a lot of cases, this is a good way to kill, because you're threatening to, if black goes here, you're threatening to connect under. But in this case, Atari. This is all Sente. All Sente. And then when black goes here, notice you can't connect under, which means this is a real eye at R3. So in this case, that doesn't work, but thankfully you can just go here. Just go here. When black descends, you play T2, and again, this is a dead shape. Because there's a cut here, so black makes an eye, you cut, and you can see if black tries to fill liberties, black can never play T1, and black can never play T3. And so black is dead. If black connects, then maybe we come down, and then Hane, that's a dead shape. So again, and I read this all out. And so at this point, I'm actually like getting my water. I'm watching the other top boards of the open because I'm like, okay, I know this is dead. So I don't need to be at the board. I got a feeling this game's going to end quick because if black just dies here, like, because this is the game right here. If black just dies here, like, white has such a big lead. White has such a big lead. And so my opponent's thinking for a while, at least 5 to 10 minutes at this move right here. And again, I've thought about all the possibilities in this game, or at least in this corner, I mean. Like, you can't connect because I cut. If you go here and here, if you cut, gotta be careful. If you cut, it's a ko. But instead, I can just fill here. And if black fills, throw in. If black fills here, cut. Again, black can never play at either of these two spots. So I was like, I read this all out. It's dead. In the game, though, black played here. And so it wasn't on my immediate radar, but I was like, oh, I know how to kill this. Now, this is probably the worst tournament move I have ever played, so brace yourselves. But I play T3, and then black just plays Q1 and is alive. And at this point, I am kicking myself. I am face palming. I'm doing all the possible ways of embarrassment to myself, because this is so bad. How does a 6-dan player mess up this life and death? This life and death. This is one of the basic ones. You'll see this in 20 to 15 Q problems. So yeah. And just to show you, this is still dead. All you need to do is throw in here. And it's dead. So yeah, even you can block first. Because again, if black goes here, you can cut. So probably S5 is the most optimal way to kill. If black connects, you go here. So this is, yeah, this move though. It would have been better for me to go elsewhere, so I get 2 moves somewhere, right? But not only do I give black more points, but I make black like live on the largest scale that they could. So yeah, I give them more points. So it's just like, oh my goodness. Now, while this is terrible, the outside is super thick, which is nice, but like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I did not, I don't know, flip this board or something, because oh my goodness, this was so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So black messed up by playing this one, which just doesn't work. This attachment here. But then my mess up is so much worse. So much worse. Yeah. Yeah. Man. This one will be painful to upload, but I gotta stay true and I gotta upload my games. So I gotta upload and review my games. And it's important to talk about kind of the mentality that I have during these games too. So, yeah. So my mentality at this point was, oh my goodness, I'm tilted. I gotta do something. So now, like, my next moves are just me throwing stones and not hoping they work, because they do end up working, but me just being very aggressive. Me being very aggressive. So G17. Again, this is why black need to play G16. So again, this move just works. This move just works. So again, I'm threatening to connect under while threatening to come out. So again, how can black fix both? How can black fix both? So black bumps here. So actually, how black can fix both, it's a little strange, but black can do this one. Because it prevents me from going under like this. Because now when I cut, that stone here is keeping black connected. And it's preventing this one. Like this. Because you can jump across. So black can actually play G16, I think. Now this stone is not useful. This stone has a lot of Aji. So even making this exchange, not that it's necessarily good for white, but it's not necessarily bad either. Like, white gets a lot out of this. Like, it's still going to be annoying for black. But black does this one. Again, this is the move that you would want to play. Like, this is the correct shape. But in this case, I can play F18. So obviously, F18 is threatening to connect under. So black prevents that. But I can now come out. And if black tried to keep me sealed in like this, black has to cut. I cut. Black has to come out. Like this. You can see black's shape just falls apart here. Cut here. Cut here. Nothing's working for black. Nothing's working for black. So that's the idea with this move first. If I do this one right now, black can just connect under. So black kind of has to, after this is on the board, black has to go here and then let me connect under like this. And this is a great result for white, but it's better than what happens in the game for black. So in the game, black peeps, which this move is really a thank you move, but I guess black saw no other option at this point, and I kind of agree. At this point, you got to give something up, but that's why black shouldn't play there and black should go here. Because black peeps, comes down, Hane, Hane. And we'll see that black's not even alive yet, because white can play d19 to take away the eye. So black pokes through. So again, I've cut off these 3 stones. But that wasn't good enough for me. So push once, and then invade the right side. Again, I was still frazzled from the lower right that I'm like, okay, I think this works. Let's go in. And again, just like the upper left one, or not even like the upper left one, because if black had played correctly, I don't think that move works. Again, if black played that weird shape move. But this one just does work. Just does work. Because of this weakness at Q15. White can get something. So black comes under. Or on top, I mean. Push. So here, I'll explain this move. So here, I thought this was Ko. Because I was like, Hane, Atari. Black obviously can't come out because I'll Atari here. Atari, and I'm out. Like that. So that won't work for black. So black has to do this one. And we'll have this Ko. Like this. And I do have Ko threats on this board. And I was kind of treating this Ko lightly as well. But basically, I wanted to try to make more Ko threats. So that's why I start here now. Kind of saying, okay, black, depending on how you play, the lower left is going to become very big. And you're going to have to give that up. And I'll just take the upper right. And I win. That was my plan. Turns out, though, so I'll get back to these moves in a second. Turns out, though, black can just Atari under. Like this. And it was funny when black did this. I was like, oh, man. But I was reviewing this game with a bunch of Haidans. And they were like, aren't you satisfied with this? Like, your past 2 results in the upper right and the upper left are amazing for white. Black got pushed down to the second line or has a weak group. Like, these should feel amazing, and look at your top. But again, I was so frazzled from the lower right that I wasn't stopping to actually look at the board. I was just thinking, oh my goodness, I made a horrible mistake in the lower right. I need to make something happen. Like, I didn't even consider not fighting this Ko. Like, I could just Atari like this. Sorry, black wouldn't take. Black just connects. Like, I could just do this, and, like, this is amazing for white. But I was so frazzled that I was like, oh, nope, I'll fight the Ko. I have to fight the Ko. So that's why I went here. Now, there's a lot of better ways black could have handled this Ko threat. Part of me wants Hane here. Hane here. But again, it's tricky because, again, when I was fishing for Ko threats, I was like, oh, well, you're going to give me a lot of Ko threats. You're going to let me go here. So black goes there. So the problem with this is white actually has a lot of Aji in the corner now. A lot of Aji. But I do this because I'm like, aha, I've made Ko threats. And then when black went here, I was like, oh, that's not Ko. Because again, I was only thinking black had to play this one into this one. And I fight this Ko. But of course, black can just Atari at S12 first and then extend. And again, look at the top. The top is amazing, but I was still like just dumbfounded by my play in the lower right that I was still like, I got to make something happen. So I turn. And so here, so I play this one. The idea with this move is that I was trying to make this move Sente, right? So black goes here. Directly, I can't cut here. Like this. Directly I can't cut there. So I was trying to set up, with this move, trying to say, okay, again, I'll make it make sense. I was trying to make this move Sente, so if this sort of thing happened, like, now I capture the 4. That was my idea. But it turns out I can simply just go here and do this, and this is a kind of Ko-ish shape. If black attaches here, goes here, like this. This would be a Ko. Now, in a lot of cases, black can Hane and do this one, and this is a dead shape. But here, because white can Hane to threaten to connect under, white can then go here. And this is Seki, right? Do that one. Right, like this. So, yeah. White is okay here. So, I wasn't even thinking about that, though. I was just thinking about this cut. So, that was another kind of misplay there. So, I play here, trying to make this cut work. Black kind of knows that, so black goes here. But then I can attach. Again, I want black to bump me here so I can come out like this. Again, as long as I'm poking through black's shape, I'm happy here. And remember, black's not alive in the upper left either, so black can't be too aggressive. So black pokes. So I fix, and then I double Hane. Again, if I can seal black in, like if something like this happens, like this, and black, okay, black's starting to make a base there. Do something like this, black jumps here. Well, okay, now black's gonna die. So that's why black can't be too aggressive here, because of the upper left. So black just comes out, but then I cover, black jumps, peep, and then connect. So I actually surround the upper, I surround the left side now. And so now, at this point, I was satisfied with the game. Or I had forgotten about the lower right, at least. Now that I'd actually captured the stones, I was feeling better now. Black turn. So here, it turns out my reading was better than I thought, but my reasoning does not back up that claim. So I'm going to connect here, basically. But I only need to connect here if I know black cares about the J17 stone. So that's in the game I play here. So my thought process was, okay, if black connects, then I will connect. And now these stones that used to be 2 stones are now 4 stones, so now they're heavier. If I just do this, and black goes elsewhere, and go here, like black would ignore me because I've already connected. But while I'm not connected, black's going to answer this differently. But as it turns out, I have this ladder. It'll get broken by this stone here, or go to this stone. And so I can just capture the 4. I don't even need to do this. But in the game, I would have connected under. I wasn't even considering this cut. Not even considering the cut. So, again, a blind spot by me. So yeah, this move was better than I thought. This move's even better than I thought. So, yeah. So black goes elsewhere. And here, this is black kind of realizing, okay, I need to make something happen as well. So, like here, black connecting is very heavy. And, like, I'm alive-ish on both sides. So it's not like black can really kill me, but black needed to do something about the bottom. So, kick, threaten to come under, and then play here. Jump, push, black comes under. Yeah, this move's okay, but I can really just play a move like this. This is multi-purpose, threatening to come under or cap next. Yeah. So it's a little slow. Black peeps, kind of a strange move, especially letting me connect and then you come back to go here, but it's probably okay. And yeah, so when I go here, again, my opponent was telling me I could give up the 3, but they felt it wasn't good enough. So even though this is very heavy, they had to do something like this. They even fix like this, which again is the way you would want to think about fixing. This is a little too slow. These leave behind their own weaknesses of the peep. But this one actually leaves behind its own weakness as well. Because you haven't actually fixed the cut yet. Now obviously if you go this way, it works for white. But if you go this way, obviously it's captured. But what that means is moves around here are sente. So I peep here, threatening to cut. Black comes up. This is still protecting the cut, but Hane. If black had cut, I would Atari and go here, like this. Notice black's shape is starting to look not alive. And remember, the upper left still needs to live. The upper left still needs to live. So this would be very risky for black. So black simply just hanes. And then even jumps here. Again, black felt like black needed to make something happen. So black couldn't just connect. And if I go here, you know, black fixes. Like, this isn't enough for black, basically. Black jumps, but I jump. Black 2 space jumps. And then cut. Cut. Again, I could just take these. And looking at it, I probably should just do this. This is solid now. And now it's Mii. Like, if black caps, this cut just directly works. After I cut here. I don't think white's or black's position can hold after this. So if black has to connect, then I can connect back. And yeah, I've captured these, and it's enough. It should be enough. But I do this, cut here, and then even cut here. Atari, connect. Black goes there. Then yeah, even this peep here. Yeah, the peep's probably okay. I need to play some move on the right side there. Hane, double Hane it's hard to find a good move here. But this is why this stone obviously helped with making this cut work, but it would be much more helpful at kind of Q8 instead of O7. So peep. So the problem with the peep is there's weaknesses when black wedges. So actually here, I think I should just do this. And even though it might look risky, I have a lot of co-threats threatening to connect back to the top. Whereas in the game, black makes a squeeze, which directly doesn't work. So maybe it's not too bad. But I had more potential to lose these 5 in this game, or in the game as I did in that previous variation. So yeah, this was all good. Black playing at all the correct spots to weaken my liberties, which is why I think I could do this one to help my liberties. Black was there. Wedge, take. So you can see it's starting to become a connect and die, assuming no co. It's directly a connect and die. Like if I Atari, black can even go here. So I would have to do connect, Atari, and this actually dies for white, like this. So directly it is a ko. Like, I can't just connect. I have to fight this ko. But you'll see that I'm okay with that. Take, Hane. Yes. Yeah. Hane back. Here. Atari, obviously black will answer. Because the thing is, because it's a ko, black can't fill the ko and allow me to take, so I have a lot of local threats. Cut. So like this is a local threat because if black Ataris, while it is a connect and die, I can take the ko. And now any of those threats black was playing on the right side here aren't as effective. So for example, if black goes here, that's not a ko threat anymore because now it's Mii to connect, right? If black goes here. And again, even if black can save the tail, I can still capture a majority of it, and I've captured these stones up here. So black really needs to have everything hold. So black filled. But the problem with that is now I have a lot of ko threats. This is now a ko threat. If black fills, throw in. Throw in's the key to make this ko threat work. Like this, and then like that. So black cuts, Atari, descend. Again, this is still threatening the throw in because now I have an extra liberty. So black goes here. This isn't great. So their idea was they're trying to make they're trying to say, okay, I can give up the center if I can take the upper right. But the problem is this doesn't take the upper right. There's still bad Aji with black shape. So I take the ko. They play there. Connect. That is a ko threat. So connect. I can wedge here. This is still threatening the snapback, because black didn't take away liberty of these 2 stones. So black connects, but you'll see, like, okay, now this cut is a co-threat. It goes there. And so when black connects there, so I think I can just answer this, but in the game I was like, okay, I know it's enough. I'll just fill like this. And so even though black captured up there, I capture the whole center. I have Sente, and yeah, this is a win for white at this point. Now there is an end game that I missed, and it's this cut here. Well, I didn't miss it. It was actually when I realized it was on the board. I didn't have a chance to play it. So this cut here. So for example, Atari. Okay, connect. Well, this is a connect and die, right? And I would like to be able to make this cut work because 3 liberties to 3 liberties means black would have to fill all this in, right? And so if you notice, if black's able to, where did I go? Here. If black's able to Atari like this, not that that's directly Sente, but now I can never cut, which means black never needs to fill in and capture these. So again, how can you make this cut work is the question. Do you see it? So how you make it work is when black Ataris is you can Atari here first. Black would probably answer this. Black's not going to take and allow you to not capture, because black can connect. You have time to send once. And now black's entire upper right is dead. So black will answer, but now when you fill, notice black's unable to cut now, or play the Atari. And black can't even connect because black runs out of liberties. So black has to, again, assuming black knows that, black has to start filling like this. So I'm able to solidify the entire top while saving here, while forcing black to capture, all in Sente. Again, this cut is Sente. It's not like black can ignore, because it's 3 liberties to 3 liberties. So I needed to do that immediately, not later, because it's Sente. But I play some endgame, and then I cut those off. And then black goes here. So this is black's final hurrah in this game. And when black descended, I was like, oh no, this is not good. But I actually have such a big lead that even if black saves a little bit, I think white's still ahead. The center is so large. And remember, white has Comey. And even if black lived, I was recognizing the upper side sequence as well. So I connect. And so we actually looked at this for a long time. Me, my opponent, and even just passerby strong players. And there's actually no way for black to live large, I should say. If both sides play correctly, there's no way to. Now, there's a lot of complications where black can cut off the upper left and there's problems, or cut off the center. But if everything is played perfectly by white, black should die. So black can turn and save the tail. But again, this wouldn't be enough. And it might look like, oh, but black can throw in and capture, right? Because this is a very normal technique. But notice, because you're on the first line, black can't fill here. So that doesn't work. And that wouldn't be enough for black either. Like just allowing this. So black tried to go for everything. But it turns out, basically, whatever black does, the best response for white is to just take away this outside liberty, no matter what black does. So in the game, that's what I do. Just take away the liberty. Or just block, I should mean, which does take away liberty. But Atari, play there. Atari, play there. Play there. Fill. Cut. Fix. And I have the ladder here. So black ended up resigning at this point after losing the left side. And yeah, so basically at this point, by the way, here is when I saw, oh, I can actually protect that cut, or I can cut here because of the Atari. So I never had the chance to play it because black was doing things on the left side. So yeah. But yeah, it was a crazy game full of actual like in-game, like during the game emotions that were very hard to keep at bay, but thankfully I was able to control them for a little bit and end up pulling a win after the atrocious lower right that I did. Oh, T3 is so bad. That move's gonna haunt me for a while. It is such a bad move. But yeah, we move on. We win this game, so we're 2-1, and yeah, and courtesy to my opponent, because my opponent later in the week ended up saying, yeah, our game, mine and his game, that was his, I forget how he described it. Did he describe it as the game that he felt like because he lost other games, but those games, he felt like he just made blunders and his opponent capitalized. But this game, he said that was the only game he felt like his opponent actually outplayed him. And so I liked that. I liked hearing that because it says a lot about my play. And yeah, the game was super fun. So I appreciated hearing that from him. So yeah, this was my third round game. Pretty crazy game. If you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you all in the next video.